Welcome back to Postscript for All Creatures Great and Small, Season 5. This is Episode 4, Uninvited Guests. So halfway through the season,
Yes.
I'm Fred Vigeant.
And I'm Christina Zeiders. And today we have snakes.
We have snakes?
snake.
We have a snake.
snake,
Yeah, let's
yeah.
not get over dramatic.
Not
please.
too many snakes. So
We have a snake, and then we have Tricky as well.
we do
back.
have Tricky, and
Right.
Tricky is helping all the men mend. That was
All the men mend.
What that was
There
awkward.
you go. So, Postscript, All Creatures Great and Small, is supported by UPMC online at upmc.com, Pleasant View Retirement Communities at pleasantviewcommunities.org, and Rogers & Associates found online at rogers-associates.com. Support also comes from you. Your ongoing investment in what we do makes this all possible. You can make a contribution at witf.org/mosaic.
Yeah, and every little bit really helps out. So thank you so much for your support. And if you love watching and listening to Postscript, you can join in the conversation. Like, comment, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and on youtube.com/@WITF Mosaic. So, yeah, do you want to get into today's episode?
Let's do it. So we are halfway through the season already.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been a whirlwind. I feel like all the reunions are done, right? Everyone's home.
Everyone is home.
Everyone's home, and,
Yes.
and everyone's happy,
Well,
sort of. But
Carmody.
I was just gonna say.
Meets Tristan. So I guess that is one more reunion.
So Carmody comes back from taking exams in London, right?
Yes, I think it was London.
And there's immediate friction.
Right, because Tristan is home and he has to share his bedroom,
He has to share his bedroom.
which he wasn't happy about in the last episode,
Right,
finding out that he has to share his bedroom.
And I think he also wasn't a huge fan of just how Carmody is really tight with his
Yeah,
brother.
they're like besties.
They're besties. He's like, I got this bacteria. Let's go check it out.
Yeah, let's go culture this bacteria. Bye, Tristan. I know you just got back, but see you later.
Right. And so just this really tight-knit connection between the two of them.
Yeah.
Tristan's like, what the heck is this?
Tristan is
Tris.
Tris is he is a thorn in Siegfried's side.
Yes.
And
that's not
so
new.
he's never actually bonded with his brother like over nerdy things. And
No.
Siegfried is a nerd. And so is Carmody. So they have that in common. They really just like to nerd out over bacteria and other such things, which we will get into in the next episode.
Yeah. And so now in episode 4, Mrs. Pomfrey's back in the mix, right?
Yes, and Tricky makes an appearance, which is always a highlight. In my
Always a
world.
highlight,
Yeah.
right? And so we haven't heard from her or seen her since episode 1, right?
Yep.
And
I believe
because
so.
last time we were
think that
talking
was-
here, I couldn't even remember her name. It's been so long. Aimee had to remind me, like, oh yeah, Mrs.
Like,
Pomfrey.
what's that dog's name? No, we did not forget Tricky's name. That would be
No, you can't
awful.
forget Tricky, Tricky Woo. But so we revisit the house, now a
Right.
convalescent home, hospital,
Yes,
something
yeah.
to that
The
nature.
field hospital,
The field
as
hospital.
I refer to it as. Yeah, because she's back looking for a particular painting.
Yes.
And she is, speaking of thorn in their sides, she is to the matron of the house, a thorn in her side.
Yes.
She's trying to find this painting. Very, very hard. But the matron of the house is very, very busy because she has a lot of men to care for and they are understaffed.
It's understaffed, yeah.
Yes.
She made mention of that.
Yeah.
So the matron called the vet's office and
Right.
said, hey, there's a snake on the loose.
There is a snake on the loose. And and Carmody's very excited about this.
Yeah.
Because Carmody has to go find the snake and he just adores snakes. He loves snakes.
And he wants to geek out with Siegfried.
Yes, but Siegfried
Siegfried
is
is busy.
Yeah, he's busy. So Audrey notices
I was just going to say, I think there should be an appreciation for Mrs. Hall
yeah,
at the moment.
she reads the room well.
Yeah.
She realizes that Tristan and Carmody need to bond because they're arguing over the room and Siegfried's not going to help them resolve it.
At this point, were they already ripping the toast apart?
Yeah, I
so.
think there was a scene at the beginning where they seem like brothers actually, because
Yes.
they both eye up the toast, they look at each other, and then they grab the toast and they just pull, and it rips almost perfectly in half, which I thought was kind of funny.
I wonder how many takes that took.
Yeah, for it to rip exactly in half. So Audrey does make more toast. She
does.
fills it up again. But so she knows they have to spend some time together so that they can get over themselves and can find some peace because they're sharing the room. She's also on a side quest to make the room more comfortable for them because Siegfried turns down her offer of a bed and breakfast. I think there was a room and a bed and breakfast
somewhere else
for one of the boys, and
Yeah.
Siegfried's like, no, they have to work it out. So she's going to force them to work it out by sending them both on a snake adventure.
But she takes that up as her priority, which I was surprised with. I mean, these are, to Siegfried's point, they're grown men. They can figure it out, right?
Yeah, but she's the one that runs the house.
She does. She keeps the house in order. And she understands, like, if I'm going to be able to sleep at night and not have these two quarreling all the time.
They're just going to be arguing at 2 a.m. when Tristan stumbles home from the bar. Falling on top of Carmody, causing all the drama.
So Audrey recommends they go together, which they begrudgingly do.
Yes. And so when they get there, Tristan thinks it's all a joke. He doesn't think there's actually a snake. He thinks that the men are just bored and having a joke on the nurses at their expense.
Right, and quickly finds a way to have to put his foot in his mouth.
Right. He goes off to take a nap.
He goes off to take a nap, bumps into Mrs. Pumphrey, who is unaware that there's a snake on the loose. Right. Because Tricky is
also on the loose.
Is holding court in their house. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So fast forward. We don't need to go play by play here, but Carmody and Tristan get stuck in a room.
Yes. So they're quarreling. They're looking for the snake. Tristan thinks that Carmody's being rude by asking the men who are recovering
about their story.
How they ended up in the hospital. Carmody kind of just sees it as like they're on this big adventure, but Tristan is like they might not want to talk about it. Both valid points.
Yes.
But yes, they end up in this room and the doorknob falls off.
Magically falls off.
And to make things more interesting, of course, the snake is
The snake's
real.
there. Yeah.
And Tricky led them straight to it. So Tricky's in the room, Tristan's in the room, Carmody's in the room, and so is a snake. And
comedy ensues. Yes. No, I mean, so there's this bonding moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
Carmody realizes the snake is not really that threatening.
No, it's some sort of python, but it's not poisonous. So he's
playing with the snake.
Yeah, he picks it up, no problem, gets it in a box. Yeah. But Tristan is climbed up on top of some sort of chair,
couch, something,
and is like trying to get as far away from this snake as possible. And Carmody realizes that Tristan is terrified of snakes. And he wonders how he could survive in North Africa being so afraid of snakes.
Which, again, I'm still skeptical of what he was doing in service, but maybe that will come through.
Do you not think he was actually in North Africa?
Well, look at the body of work
snakes?
Of Tristan. He
does exaggerate.
He does exaggerate. So, I mean, the episode starts with him exaggerating.
Oh, yeah. He's like telling them a story about what was it? A pistol in his back.
James and
Helen. They're all like,
oh
my God. And it was just the camel with his whip. He wanted breakfast. He has a very hungry camel. So yes, you're right. He is prone to exaggeration and stories.
So maybe that's unfair of me. Maybe I'm making this up, or being more critical than necessary. But it sticks out to me like when he went into this whole story a season or two ago about acing his exams, which weren't exactly true. It
wasn't exactly true. It was not true at all.
So I don't know. There's some skepticism, I think.
He does make some stuff up. But yeah, so they have this moment where Tristan basically tells Carmody that he was very brave. And I think they apologize to each other for being jerks, because they were both kind of jerks. And then Carmody said that he'll make a deal. They can share the room. Tristan says they can share the room if the snake doesn't stay in the room. Carmody said that the snake was staying in the room. It's the perfect habitat for it. That's what it was. And
I don't think Mrs.
Carmody.
Hall was on board with that either.
No, but Carmody actually made a joke. So,
Yes.
like, that was cute.
Yes, he did.
He's not just
He's
a
like,
nerd.
gotcha.
He's also very funny. So, yes, the snake's not staying in their room. It's going to stay, I guess, in the surgery area. And now the boys are going to share the room. And they're actually getting along really well. So now Siegfried...
Sounds like reason to go have a drink.
Right. It sounds
Right.
like a reason to go have a drink.
Which was the other theme I picked up with this episode was Tristan was so eager. So like at the beginning of the episode when they were just all in the house, he's like, hey, let's go to the bar.
Yeah,
and then
everyone's kind of too busy for him.
everyone's too busy for him. James
Which doesn't
is,
help him feeling like he belongs anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and
Yeah.
that's the thing. But he's in this weird purgatory, right? He's not actually working as a veterinarian.
Right. He's not a vet, which he reminds Audrey of when she says, well, you go with Carmody. He's
right.
like, I don't
I'm just
work here.
here.
Yeah.
But he's doing these occasional lectures or whatever, right? And so,
yeah.
But yeah, he's just kind of there.
He's there. He's, I guess, enjoying himself. He likes to go to Drovers.
But yeah, he's his drinking buddy James is
Right.
preoccupied with taking care
Work
of his son.
and babies, yes.
Yeah, and certainly Carmody and Sigmund are busy playing with bacteria cultures or whatever. And
Yeah, they're bonding. He just is, he's trying to refine his spot in the family again. I feel like that's what he's struggling with too. There was another big storyline with James and this cow that's not eating.
yes, okay.
And it's not really about the cow, but he goes back to, well, it is about the cow. The cow, this farm, Crabtree's farm, is where he got brucellosis in the first place.
From the
And-
end of last season.
Yes.
Yes.
So he's going back because one of the cows isn't eating, and they think maybe she overate. So he gives linseed oil, but that didn't help.
And what is this? The mailman is giving like
The
suggestions or some
right, well,
nonsense?
I guess
I mean, no
everybody-
offense to mailmen.
I
or
guess
mail
everybody
carriers.
in the Yorkshire Dales has
Is everyone-
farming in the background, I guess.
Everyone's in everyone's business. That's what it is.
Yeah, but it is the postman. The postman is giving advice. He says that the cow just needs a good gallop.
A good gallop.
But James is trying to do
His
work
job
as a vet.
Yes.
And he doesn't think it is that. So I don't know. I'm assuming a lavage or lavage. I don't know is that like an enema? They're trying to clean out this cow
yeah,
because
a
they
little
think the
backed
cow has a stoppage, a little constipated. And everything he's doing just isn't working. So the third time, I think he's at the farm. The
Yes.
postman says again, do you want me to take her out for a gallop? And James is just like, okay,
Fine, do it.
let's
Yeah.
just do it.
So yeah.
So the postman takes her out for a gallop, brings her back, and then James listens, and he's like, oh, she sounds better. But during these visits, the postman tells James he's lucky.
Yep.
Mr.
farmer.
Crabtree
Yeah.
tells James that he's lucky, that he got brucellosis and got sent home and isn't tied up in the war anymore. But James doesn't feel lucky because he feels responsible
Feels guilty. Yeah.
for the fact that he wasn't there. His men went down. Most, all of them. We still
Right, we haven't heard-
We haven't heard any update
Yeah, and I thought
on
I
the
figured
single
we would've-
survivor.
We're introduced to all these
think-
characters and they were gone.
I think they're
instantly.
just not going to update us
Yeah.
on that single character. But they may have all died, and he feels very responsible because he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
They were under the leadership of a subpar pilot as a result of him not being there, and so he doesn't feel lucky. Helen also thinks he's lucky, but has never heard him actually express that he does not feel like he was lucky. And so there's this nice moment where she's like, talk to me, and he's like, I don't want to. I've made my peace with it. So they don't really talk it out, but at least Helen gets a glimpse into the fact that James doesn't feel 100% lucky that he's home. Like, I think he's happy that he's home and he gets to spend time with Jimmy and Helen and back to the vetting. But
all
I
the
don't
other
think he
crazy
likes the
characters.
idea that he's lucky because of it,
Yeah.
because there were people who died.
Doesn't like how it's framed. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was that less happy storyline.
Yeah.
But the cow's fine.
The
so
cow
that's good news.
survives.
Oh, and he yells at a dog.
Yeah.
And he thinks he broke the dog's spirit. He gives
And
it a
then
juicy bone and it's not interested. But then he attacks the mailman.
All is well.
All
Yeah.
is well.
Yeah.
He's fine. It's fine. They have a good laugh.
Is that your cute animal
I think that
moment?
was probably my favorite animal moment. Although
Okay.
don't give your dogs raw bones. That is actually very dangerous.
Okay.
But
Noted.
yeah. I think that was really cute because the dog's just like really sad because they're really good at making you feel guilty when you yell at them. How do I know? I have 3 and they all make me feel guilty for yelling at them.
Oh my goodness.
But then they start barking at the mailman and I'm like, oh, they're fine.
Yeah.
Everything's
They'll survive.
So yeah, that was probably my favorite animal moment was the spicy dog because I love spicy dogs.
So we'll see. So yeah, Carmody and Tristan make amends.
Right. They're like besties now too,
Yeah.
just in a different way.
So we'll see where that goes. You know what we also haven't seen much of is that land girl,
Doris.
who caught,
that's right, Carmody's
eye. Although he kind of fumbled through that one instance.
He's
so.
really bad.
Yeah.
He's really bad
Like,
at flirting.
cringy bad.
Like, she knows you like her. You might as well just be honest about it.
So that's a storyline that has developed that we haven't seen much on. We also haven't. What's Helen's sister's name again?
Jenny.
Jenny, wants to go work at a department store.
Oh, yeah, Jenny. We haven't heard any update on Jenny at all. Helen's actually been very disconnected from
family.
From the farm
which is
life.
part of the story, right?
Yeah, because she's focused.
Now that James is home, she is able to come home to the farm to check on things and help. But Jenny's like, no, we got this.
Yeah. They're doing fine with
Life
Doris and
Yeah,
life
Doris
has
is
moved
doing
on.
her thing. We don't see Mr. Bosworth.
This one
plays a role in the episode, but we don't see him on camera.
Right.
Because
He's
he
kinda
helps
quiet
fetch
this
the
bed. The spare bed. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I think Bosworth does have a crush because he's pulling strings for Mrs. Hall. She's like, only if it's a spare.
Only if it's a spare, if it's available. She didn't want it
Yeah,
to be
she-
taken away from somebody else that needed it.
But she got the spare mattress to make the room
She was able to call in a
cozier.
favor to her buddy.
Yeah. So that's cute.
That's cute.
I don't know.
So we'll see where that goes.
We'll see. We will see.
We'll see where that goes because otherwise, then you also have. We saw glimpses in I think both episode 1 and 2 of maybe Siegfried and Audrey too.
There's kind of a moment here too where Siegfried kind of has a twinkle in his eye when he realizes that she orchestrated Carmody and
right at the end there. Yeah.
Tristan's friendship. So I don't know. They have kind of a parental relationship, so it's a little bit. It's complicated. Like, I mean, they're kind of parents to Tristan. So,
Yes.
like, they take
Carmody.
care of everybody in that house.
Yeah,
So there's kind of like a father-mother dynamic to their relationship, too. So I don't know where it's going.
Where is it going?
Because there's moments where I'm like, Siegfried likes Mrs. Hall, and Mrs. Hall likes Siegfried. But
then there's
I don't know.
Mr. Bosworth. So.
And then there's Mr. Bosworth, and who knows? Who knows where this is going?
But that's why we're going to keep watching.
We're going to keep watching.
We're gonna keep
We're going to
watching.
see what happens in episode 5.
Yeah.
And
we'll go from there. So we thank you for taking time to watch episode 4 with us. Also, to discuss the episode with us. So thank you for watching Postscript.
Yes, you can find us at witf.org/mosaic, and we greatly appreciate any gifts of support. And if you have feedback, you can comment on the YouTube video, or you can email us at ps@witf.org. Let us know your hot takes. And then a shout out to our production team behind the camera.
Yeah.
Our videographer and editor, Joe Randazzo, and producer, Aimee Bealer. They make sure that we seem like we know what we're talking about each and every week. It's hard work. And we wouldn't be here or sound as good without them. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So thank you for watching. We look forward to your comments, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See ya.